October 2nd, 2025. This is the S&P 500 E-futures mini on the 2000 tick chart using NinjaTrader 8. There was no economic data that came out to really move the market, but the overall structure looked like it was a spike in a channel in the pre-market, then a very gradual sell-off. Well, gradual is kind of an understatement because it was, well, overstatement. Well, one or the other. It looks like it was a sell-off, sideways choppy consolidation, sideways, press down, another sideways, press down. Then it was hard to find if this is in a range or still obeying this yellow down channel. It looked like it was one leg up, another sideways, another leg up, kind of a sideways here, and then maybe a gradual push down. I have to admit, today felt a little bit, not like it was a little, I would say like tricky, or it felt like it was kind of trappy because there were several times during the day when you're watching for no rhyme or reason that I could find out from any news or anything. It would create these big knee-jerk pushes, like either push up, pops around, then push down. So if you're going along and you're looking at the chart today, you're going to see these nice little organized candles. Then every so often you're going to see these big moves, like it was a spring-loaded trap of some kind where suddenly it shoot down, chop around. Like you get these really big candles. I mean, big relative to the day. Then it has these nice organized push down. Then you have this big push up, followed by just these big. I can't really, I don't really know why, but it was just these more than usual these spikes, these reversals that happen, and it made the day kind of feel a little like just set up with a bunch of traps. I did take one trade and I was profitable, but in hindsight, I look back and I don't think the trade I should have taken after all because it would seem more risky than I should have taken it. So I'm going to the setups right now. So as I mentioned in the pre-market, it looks like there was this spike up on this orange up channel, push down. Looks like it was just sideways consolidation, another push up, down. It looked like a fail breakout, then it became a breakout pullback, pushed up. Maybe it was kind of obeying this purple up channel. It's hard to say. So then right before the open in the pre-market, it sold off, bounced, moved sideways. So technically you have a new low here. Well, if you start from up here, you have a new high. First entry long, pullback. You kind of have a second entry long on this candle, but this is a bad signal bar. EMA is flat, so it doesn't really give you a clear bias. Just go ahead and zoom in. You also have a new low. It's a first entry short pullback. Technically, you have a second entry short here. One tick above, push down strongly, but I didn't like that it was potentially, it stopped short and it stopped right at the support line. So I was thinking we're in a trading range. I was thinking the green channel needs to test this low. This could be one attempt down, second attempt down. It might be exhausted. I'm not ready to take a short here. EMA isn't very helpful as a key entry point or giving you any kind of indication of bias at the moment. So this pushes down. So I was thinking, well, I was hoping for a lower high here, but it's too late now. Pushes down this orange down channel. So it looks like it was one leg, one attempt up, second attempt up, then a strong flush down. This second leg is bigger than this first leg. So I'm thinking this could be treated potentially as its own trend line going down. So break, continues down, tests the low. So this is one of the, I guess, one of the times where it just is this really rapid fire up. I'm not really sure why I did that. And you can look at the timestamp. This happened very quickly. So there was something someone out there knew that caused us to push up. So you do have a localized low, first entry short, pull back. Technically, you have a second entry short failure. But again, it's a little ambiguous. I'm leaving it alone. Pushes down. So now I'm thinking there's potential triple test. Maybe we're in a range with the support here. The top of the range, I had it a little bit tighter initially. It looks like it's a first entry long pullback. Potential second entry long right here. Potential second entry long with a multiple test. Now this break of this orange down channel, you could say I had a break here, or if you extended it outwards with no break, something closer to this, then you could say it's like one attempt down. This could be the second attempt down, and actually after the first attempt, it did test the low. Second attempt down, first attempt up, second attempt up, multiple tests, decent signal bar. It's a little more aggressive, but there is enough room to the high. So this would have worked, but I really wanted this candle to break above this one by one tick, then I would felt a little more safer. Prices push up. So I had my range initially down here. And I was thinking this could be a failed breakout. First entry short goes back up. Potential second entry short, but you're kind of in a range. So this isn't a good signal bar. Nothing here yet. Chopping. It's getting a little congested. It looks like it's wedging. So it's kind of this, you have higher highs and higher lows and lower highs. So it looks like it's getting crushed. So that could cause a big push in one way or the other, which I'm not really sure of. I'm not even sure of the bias right now because I'm at this point looking to the left. I'm thinking we're just in a range. I'm not ready to call this as a short day or a day of bearish control. Prices move up, pops around. So you do have like second entries, but this is just a congested mess. Pushes down. So technically you have a localized new high. First entry long right here. Second entry long. Maybe a higher low, but it's not really that higher than this one. So I'm leaving it alone. New low, first entry short, second entry short. It's just, again, feeling like it's congested. Pushes down. You have a visual second entry short right here. So I called it as a one leg up pullback, second leg up pullback. Now it's a break of the screen up channel, tested the high, clear that the bias is a little bit, it's hard to really tell because you can still be in a range because you could be in a big range from the pre-market high to the pre-market low. It looked like it was two legs down, moving sideways, pressed down. So locally, it looks like it could, let me back it up. It could make another attempt to the lows. The the concern that I had was unless you took it on the engulfing, if you waited for this signal bar to close, then definitely there's no trade because if you waited for it to close, you're pretty much you could argue you pretty much bounced off the support line. Technically, you didn't touch, but there's some kind of respect being paid because buyers came in and pushed it back up. Ideally, this candle wouldn't have created this stem. If you just chopped off the stem, that give you a little more confidence. Or if this candle broke one tick above and pushed down, and as the life of this candle is I guess, decreasing on 2000 tick chart, then you could probably trust, okay, I could take it on the engulfing. But this didn't really quite do that. It pressed down. The ticks count was still relatively high, then it pressed back up. So unless you took it on the engulfing and you were really confident and a press through, I called it an aggressive trade. It's possible, though. Prices then continue moving down, breaks up, pushes up. At this point, I thought, okay, there might be some kind of trend line, one touch, two touch, two, three, and then either 3, 4 touches here. Arbitrarily turn it into a channel, which I had it clear at the time, like this. And I was thinking maybe we're operating in something like this. So say first entry short, second entry short, lower high. Unfortunately, it's not the right candle color. And I'm not too sure about this channel yet, but at least the support, the resistance side of this trend line or this channel is acting pretty well, except the candle just fell short. I needed it to be red. Press it down, localized new high, first entry long, pullback. You don't, I mean, you kind of have a second entry long here, but it's an inside bar. You have a doji below the EMA. I'm not a big fan of this. Presses up and then comes back down. So you have a new low, first entry short, and that's all you get. So by the time we get to this confirmation, that's when I do color it in with something like that. Presses down on this green down channel, new low, first entry short, first attempt down to test the low of this green. This could be a second attempt, but it's near the low of the day, so I'm just waiting. Presses down, but now it's too late for this trade. Gets a little congested, pushes all the way down, bounces off of here. So then I trust this as an actual yellow down channel that the prices are moving in. You technically have a first entry short here, second entry short, but I saw it more as a visual first entry short. That seemed like it was more important than this tiny second entry short right here. Pushes back up, break of the green up channel. I'm expecting a test of the high with hopefully a touch off this yellow and a good setup to go short. So you almost get that. So you have a first entry short, second entry short. So your trigger or your entry will be one tick below here. Pushes down, it would have worked. I'm looking for a lower high. Actually, I should have marked this. Yeah, so there's actually a potential trade right here. First entry short, second entry short, decent signal bar, made a double top, push down, closed low. You could say that it's close enough to this touch that's going to press back down on here. EMA maybe might act as resistance, but I would think it's maybe a worthwhile trade. Presses down. You have a lower high here, but that's not a good signal bar. Starts moving sideways, double dojis. I'm not really sure what the bias is, right? I mean, overall bias you think is going potentially down because it's broken down the pre-market low, but locally it's just a little congested because the size of this range is only about 1-2 points, and I don't really like that. Flushes back up, touches, creates a second entry short here. So technically you have a new low, first entry short, second entry short, but I saw it as this is just the bottom. So I saw it as a visual first entry short, second entry short, bounce off this resistance. The reason I don't quite like it is it pushed up until then. These are kind of coming up to the high side, pushing and making new lows every time it attempted to press back down to touch the low side. This one, it kind of failed. So it's pressing up again. I'm a little reluctant to come back down, reluctant to trust that the prices might come back down. It turns out it would have here. I'm looking for a lower high. And you get a lower high here. So here was just, I was a little more conservative, didn't really believe that it would come back down. Plus, it's an inside bar, so just kind of threw a little bit of ambiguity for me. Prices continue moving down, tests and makes a new low. Now, I'm watching this very carefully. I'm noticing this, if prices are really obeying this yellow down channel, they're hitting the high sides and getting rejected, which is great. Every time it gets a rejection, it does make an attempt, and for the most part, it does kind of hit to the bottom, but it looks like it might be losing some steam. So in other words, I'm thinking the bearish momentum might be running out. So I'm a little more cautious and trying to take a short. So it pushes up, I have a first entry short. Here, you technically have a second entry short, but I don't like this signal bar. Second entry short, it creates a second entry short failure. So it's like a new low, first entry short, second entry short, second entry short has failed on this candle. New high, first entry long pullback, second entry long, maybe pushing through. So I just mentioned that I'm wondering if the bearish momentum is running out because it seems to be failing to reach more to the other side, breaking past the midline to, spend more time back here. But now you have these two key entry points or two setups potentially. The concern I had was, is this a failed breakout of this yellow down channel that it might get pulled back in? Or did it make one leg, two attempts up, and the second attempt could make a corresponding leg the same size as this? So to go long, I feel a little hesitant. What I want to see now is a higher low to confirm the second entry long. The higher low shows up, then I think, okay, maybe it is starting to reverse. You get a higher low here. It kind of tests the high. I left it alone. It pushes up. In hindsight, maybe I should have marked this actually. Pushes up. So you get your higher low, potential trade here. It is testing the highs of this. Pushes down. First entry long, pullback. You technically have a second entry long outside this potential orange up channel, so I'm not too sure. You might have a higher low, but it's not the right signal bar color. It's bearish. It's a little choppy. Pushes up. Creates a failed second entry short, called it an almost trade, new low. First entry short, pullback. Second entry short failure. But I noticed, and I drew this blue line, I was wondering if we're starting to develop into a range where this could be potential resistance. This is a failed breakout, the price is moving back in. So I didn't have enough confidence to turn it into a range yet, but I noticed that there was some kind of resistance potentially right here. But you're also making higher lows. So this is like a localized low, higher low here, higher low here, higher low here. So it looks like it's getting compressed against some kind of resistance region, and you have some bullish momentum creating higher lows. So I called it an almost trade, wasn't too sure, concerned that it might be hitting into this potential resistance area up here of this localized range that I drew. So I kind of settled things. I didn't really take a trade. But then here, so seeing all this in the moment, I thought, okay, I saw this big leg up, which could be broken down into two legs up. One leg up, pull back, second leg up, pull back, one attempt up, second attempt up. It's also two legs down. So I also saw a break of this purple, push to the highs, coming back down. As you can see, I drew this trend line here, but I didn't turn into a channel yet. So I was thinking this is looking like it's flagging. So it's creating higher lows every time, and it's testing this resistance area multiple times. So I got it in my head that it's kind of a weak setup in hindsight, but I do have a new high, first entry long, pullback, down, second entry long. And I thought, okay, well, there seems to be some kind of support here. So there could be a bullish bias here. Now, there is potential that this is a trading range, but I treated the bounce off this support more strongly along with the setup here with more momentum to at least get a 1 point scalp than I did have concern about this potential acting as a resistance. So if that this sounded a little bit jarbled, so let me go back. So I have two things in play. I'm thinking this could be a resistance, but I'm thinking it's bounced off this potential trend line support and this potential triple test. I also like that it's a one leg down, pull back, second leg. This isn't the best signal bar, but the trigger bar is nice that it moved a few ticks down, bounced, and then pushed up, engulfing this guy. So I took it on the engulfing, hoping for a 1 point scalp. I didn't have the courage to try to go for 2 points because, as you can see, it's 67, 55, 50. For 2 points, you need to get up to 67, 50. 67, 57, 50, which is up here. But to just get 1 point, I just need to get 65, 56, 50, which is right here. So this, in hindsight, wasn't the best setup. I took it. It is congested, but I didn't quite see it that way at the time. I was too zoomed in, too tunnel vision. So I entered. My stop's way down here below this triple bottom. Then I saw this higher low setup, and I kind of gave me a little more courage that it's going to probably move up. EMA is acting as support now, pushes up, and I finally get my quick 1 point scalp. So I was thinking of trading a runner, but when I enter the trade and I see this, then I see this, then I see this, I'm not that confident in taking a runner anymore. So I just collapsed everything, just get the 1 point scalp, realized this is a higher risk trade than I initially thought. This is clearly in congestion. Even though the higher low is kind of giving me some confidence, I said, I'm just going to be grateful for the 1 point scalp. Got the 1 point scalp, push this down. If I went for two, this candle would have stopped me out. It would have hit my stop. So it creates a triple test. Unfortunately, it didn't create a green bar, which I would have wanted. Prices move up. It moves out of this range. There's a potential fail breakout here. Creates a second entry short, new low. First entry short, pull back, second entry short. Also break of the green up channel, test the high. I'm thinking it's a fail breakout. Prices might be pulled back into this range. So I thought it was a possible trade. It would have worked. Prices down. Also new high, first entry long, pullback, second entry long, but this is kind of an inside bar to this. And at the time, I was thinking this failed breakout is more likely going to pull prices back down. So it's a break of this orange down channel, expecting a test of the low, but it doesn't happen. It kind of reverses back up. It creates a new high, visual first entry long. Well, actually, so I didn't count this as a first entry long. I counted this as a first entry long visual, potential pullback, second entry long, and maybe a higher low setup. New low, first entry short, second entry short, second entry short's about to fail. Everything depends on the next candle that shows up. I thought there might have been a possible trade here because it could be a breakout, fail breakout, but breakout pullback because it all is kind of resuming this higher low setup that was initially here, but it had a spike down here. So this would have worked, but after this trade, I was just kind of happy, a little bit cautious because, as I mentioned, today just kind of felt trappy and slow. Prices moved up because it took a while for some of these candles to close. So some of these setups you'd be sitting in, especially in the latter half of the day, for quite a while. Prices move up, new high, first entry long pullback, second entry long. It looks like it's in a sideways trading range. Moves up. I draw this yellow up channel, but I'm not the biggest fan. It kind of touches, kind of confirms, but it more more likely acts as a guideline. So I'd be reluctant to treat any touches here or here as a key entry point just yet so early. Prices move up. It creates a measured move. So it gets up to here, pulls sideways, comes up to here. And if you kind of had this slightly lower to right here, the measured move was already made. So it's kind of exceeding it and it's going up higher. No clean second entries here. You might have had a second entry here, but it's a doji, so it's a new high. First entry long, pullback, maybe a second entry long, but seeing this in real time, you're thinking maybe it's going to move into this suspicious or this yellow up channel that I don't trust too much yet. EMA is flattening out. Didn't mean to do that. Creates this visual first entry long pullback, second entry long, but it doesn't really quite bounce off of anything, so I left it alone. I did notice it. Creates a new high. Well, not new high, localized new low. First entry short, pullback. Second entry short, it's going right into the EMA. So I was reluctant. Plus, this is inside to this, so it just gives me a little more caution. It's choppy. Looks like it's in this trading range now, this blue trading range. Looks like it was one leg down, pullback, second leg, but it didn't quite make the measured move, which may not matter because it might just be trading in this range. Let me just extend this. Then it flushes down. It's entering the last 30 minutes, so having my one trade that in hindsight now I don't think was the best trade or was a safe trade, I was just grateful. Wasn't really going to try to hunt for another trade, but I was observing. It moves down what I think is this transparent down channel, and you can tell the timestamp is already getting pretty late. Saw a new low, first entry short, second entry short. If this setup had appeared earlier in the day with more than just 10 minutes left, I think this is a viable trade to take. I like it for two reasons. It's getting rejected off this potential trend line coming down, which may be a channel. Looked like it was one leg up, pullback, second leg. This signal bar here, technically this is your signal bar right here. This trigger bar moved up, got pressed down pretty strongly, like an EMA, not EMA, but this rejection off this resistance, pressed through the EMA, engulfed this guy entirely, and closed near the low. Even though there's this measured move here, I'm going to go ahead and just delete it for now to clarify some things. It pressed down, engulfed it. It looks like there's enough momentum to get another 1 point scalp out of this. But as I said, it's too late in the day for me to want to take this, but I saw it and I thought this might actually have been a good trade if it showed up earlier. So it would have worked for 1 point. And if you went for 2 points, it would have gone for sure for 2 points. And it kind of moves into the last few minutes of the day. So overall, the chart looks like, I don't know, it looks like a wide V or maybe this distorted M shape. And it felt a little trappy, in my opinion, today. I took a trade. It was successful, not the best setup, especially in hindsight. And overall, it was a little, I don't know, confusing sometimes because these big knee-jerk corrections kind of threw me for a loop, maybe extra cautious. Today easily could have just been a no trade day, but I'm fortunate to have one trade and I'm just pretty happy with that. So hopefully that was helpful.